Voting continues in Louisiana, so Jasmine Bingham spoke to the Registrar of Voters office about what you need to know. Jasmine?
That's right, Jennifer. Early voting ends tomorrow at 6 p.m. and the Registrar for Ouachita Parish says the turnout for Louisiana so far has increased compared to the last presidential election. The registrar says voters had different options during the 2020 election due to the COVID-19 pandemic. She says voters should keep in mind the different options for voting, deadlines, and remember that only disabled persons and military officials can receive an absentee ballot through email.
Either the Registrar of Voters office or the designated site on North 7th Street at the West Ouachita Senior Center. That is early voting. Then we have absentee voting by mail. That is totally different, and the dates and times does not coincide with the early voting. That is when you can request a ballot to be mailed to you. The turnout for our in-person has really has been great. We've had a lot of people come out to cast their votes and not have to worry about the pandemic.
Congresswoman Juliet Letlow says voting is about more than just casting a vote. It's about making sure your voice is heard.
We need to make sure that our voices are heard. I encourage you, please come make an informed decision. Early voting ends tomorrow at 6 p.m. I voted right here in Richland Parish, my home parish. The district's lines have changed a bit, so I encourage everyone to govote.com to look at the sample ballot and make sure you know what's on the ballot to make an informed decision.
For more information on voting, visit our website.